Hey, what's happening, Dean Delray? Thanks for tuning in. Monday, October 14th. Great day, just getting it started here. I had a fantastic night last night opening for Mark Maron at the Ice House. That was a dream come true. If any of you were there or you're new listeners from coming out to the show, thank you for coming out. Welcome. And most of all, thank you, Mark Maron, for having me. That's just an honor. Opening up for someone that one of your favorite comedians. Bam, you're opening for him. I love the guy, man. He's been nothing but just kick ass. Thank you, Mark, man, for having me. Check his podcast, people. Of course, WTF, just fantastic. Mark Maron, thank you for having me. So that was a great night last night. Couldn't believe it. Sold out crowd. Pasadena Ice House. Just having fun. Some of my friends came out, hung out. We just, boom, watched Maron do an hour. He was killing. That was fantastic. So that was it. It was kind of hard to sleep last night. I was all fired up, just like, yeah. But here I am. New episode of Let There Be Talk. Great episode today. My good friend, longtime friend, Juan Alderete's on. You're wondering who Juan Alderete is. He's the bass player in Mars Volta for the last 10 years. He also played in a band in the early days called Racer X that was on Shrapnel. And they were some of the early shred masters. Just that stuff, man. The guy's phenomenal on his instrument. I mean, it's hard enough to learn an instrument, but then to master it and become one of the top guys in the industry, that shit is crazy, man. So, hats off for him, and he's been playing all his life. I think he's around my age, 90. So, play bass when you're 90 years old. Yeah. Anyway, I love this guy, man. We both grew up in the Bay Area, and he's got great stories, and I got excited. Yeah. More. But, I don't know, we could have talked for hours. And we did. We got a serious rock talk going here. So sit back, get ready for that. Before we carry on any further, just give you a quick rundown of some shows I got coming up. Of course, Brian Redband and myself and Christian Spicer are all going to be in San Francisco at the Punchline November 20th. I'll be headlining there. Get your tickets, please, in advance. Do it. Come on. You can actually call the Punchline and you save like $5. So if you're going to get tickets, call the Punchline after 3 o'clock Monday through Friday. That's November 20th. And then I'm going to be in Vegas November, let's see here, 11th through the 17th. Las Vegas at the Laugh Factory. You want to come out to that? If you're in Vegas, hit me up. I'll throw you on the list. I don't care. Let's party. Let's party! And, other cool stuff coming. But I want to get into the episode. Before I do, I got a brand new sponsor here. I'm pretty fired up. New sponsor. One of my favorite shoe places of all time is right here in Los Angeles, and it's called Hot Rod. I go there all the time. Hot Rod's on the west side. They're at 2253 West Side Boulevard in Los Angeles. They've been around since 1995. They're the premier sneaker culture shop. I love them, man. Place is crazy. They always got all the best limited edition shoes. They got like Nike SB, Nike Sportswear, Vans, Converse, Red Wings. It's a fantastic store. It's old school. It's just skateboards, rock and roll. They also have cool events once in a month. They'll do like art openings and they do special stuff like that. And on Fridays, get this, they got beer from 5 to 8. You're buying shoes, drinking beer. It doesn't get any cooler than that. Go out and see my boy Bernard. Tell him Dean Delray sent you. He'll hook you up with a deal. Bernard, or call him or check them out online. Their online site is shop. Let's see. Let me get this right real quick. Here it is. It is shop.hrlife.com. Or follow them on Instagram, HR_LA. That's them, Hot Rod. Please hook them up, man. I don't pump bullshit. These guys are great store. It's definitely my favorite. All right, gonna get into it right now. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your emails. Thanks for your donations. You know, got some donations this week. Very cool. People helping out the podcast. You want to donate? Hit me at Delray at yahoo.com. Delray at yahoo.com. Thanks, guys. Well, here it is. Juan Alderete. Hey, here we are, brand new episode of Let There Be Talk. This is a pretty cool guest today.
Woo! Go back, way back.
Way back. How far back we go?
Man, I'd have to say, I think, when did we meet? Like,
fuck, I really don't know, man.
in the mid 80s?
I guess so.
Mid-80s.
First of all, let's introduce you. Are you Juan Already or are you John? You're John to me.
I grew up John.
Yep.
But you know, as you live your life and you decide you've always hated your name, and you know, and I kick it with Latinos, and they're not going to call me John. They're going to call me Juan. So I just flipped it to Juan. I mean, if you look like on the first 3 Rage Against the Machine records, I'm thanked on those as Juan, and I was just like, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna flip it. I like it way better.
Yeah.
When I joined this band, Pet,
What was it, Pet?
Pet. That was it was a band I was in the '90s. We were signed to Tori Amos's label, and I joined after they made the record. But like everything we did was like I was Juan, just because.
Right. Does your wife? Are you still married?
Yeah, of course.
She call you Juan?
Yeah. She calls me both. She calls me Juan. We usually it's babe. I mean, or that's Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we put that on records now. Babe already.
Ladies.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck. Well, I think I don't even remember when we met, but I do have like great memories of us. You were, I guess I met you around the Racer X days,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
You were like recording up at Prairie Sun.
All our records studio records were at Prairie Sun. We did a lot of mixing. I think one of the live records we mixed up there, with Mooka.
Right. But I was always up there, and I think maybe that we just met through Varney.
We could have either met through Varney but you remember that girl, Sarah?
Oh, yeah.
Sarah Lynch.
Yeah, Sarah Lynch, Santa Rosa girl.
She might have introduced us, maybe.
So were you going out with her? I don't remember.
Kinda. I don't know. We just hung out a lot, and so maybe her. But I think that's more towards the 90s. I think we definitely met before then, so that's actually wrong.
Yeah.
But anyway, either way, it was. I'm sure Racer.
Because you guys played like my birthday parties. Right,
at the Stone?
Well, Paul Gilbert did. He played drums in my AC/DC tribute band.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
He's a great drummer.
Yeah, Paul played drums and Varney played guitar.
Oh, I think I was there. I was there.
And I think Bruce played too.
Yeah, so you met us in the Racer.
Bruce and I have the same birthday. I think February 3rd. Yeah, we have the same. And same with what's his name? Richie Kotzen.
Shit, now I remember.
All 3 of us had the same birthday, and Kotzen played also. He came down all dressed in like feather boa and shit, threw a guitar in the air like I'm a god. I was like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? We're at an AC/DC jam. Yeah. He's like feather boa.
Hey, move over, Richie. Paul's about to smoke you.
Yeah. Oh, man. No, those days were wild, huh? You grew up in the Bay Area like I did.
Yeah.
You were at Novato, I think?
Yeah,
I remember I went to your parents' house before.
Yeah. I think we had a couple parties.
Yeah, right.
Parents were in Europe, like, hey, we're having parties. But
and your brother lived there or whatever.
Yeah. So I grew up there. It was weird because, I when I started playing, I didn't quite know what kind of music I wanted to do. And then, I remember when we were making the move to LA, all my friends were like, whatever you do, dude, don't become a metal monkey.
Yeah.
And, because that's what we called metal dudes.
Right.
Their hair, how they used to have the bell haircuts at the forehead bangs and shit.
Oh, yeah. Like that early Hetfield and Lars haircut.
Yeah. And so we, because it looked like Planet of the Apes shit. So we were just like, don't be a metal monkey. And I'm like, no way, I'm never playing metal. I go down there, nothing's going on. I'm going to school. Paul Gilbert's looking for a guitar player. My roommate was also my drummer in my band. And he's like, hey, this guy's Actually, it was Greg Vorobiev. You remember him?
Nope.
Guitar player, shredder dude. But
Were you going to GIT or BIT?
BIT, that was like 85. But so I was going there, and then Paul.
What made you go there? Because of the shred scene?
I mean, we were just doing nothing musically up in the Bay, like you know, because I wasn't into metal. I was into my favorite band was Killing Joke, and so I wanted to be in a band like Killing Joke. And we're like, well, then let's go to LA, go to the music school, and that way my parents will fund it.
Right.
And so all of us got our parents to fund our MI trip.
That way you can just basically hang out, play rock.
Exactly. And so I remember the first thing we did when we got to LA, we went to Madame Wong's because we're like, well, this is where bands that would play, and we were hanging out a couple times, going through there, and then Paul's like looking for a bass player, and I'm like, well, I'm not doing anything, and I could always play fast. And so he was like, wow, I don't really like your drummer, but do you want to do this? And I was like, fuck, I'll make a record. Why not?
Right.
And so next thing I knew, I'm growing my hair out. I had a mohawk when I met him, and then I'm growing my mohawk out. So there's all these mullet photos of me in the early days of Racer X, and then I just grew it out. And next thing you know, I'm playing metal for like the next 5 years. You know?
Yeah. Now Racer X was fucking like a huge cult following, right?
Yeah.
Like Shrapnel had all I mean, I remember you and I know Varney quite well.
Right.
One of my favorite things of you was always calling, going, Varney got those checks. Where's our checks? Always.
Hey, didn't you work for him?
I did. I worked for Varney. Remember, I mowed his lawns and shit. Remember?
That's right. I remember you.
I did maintenance around his house.
That's how we met then.
Yeah, that's probably how we met. Because
Yeah.
you'd be over there going, "Where's my checks?" And then we just met.
All of us, because they would all nobody ever wanted to do any of the business. Not Scott, the drummer, who
Right.
Judas Priest drummer now, and then Paul didn't want to. Of course, such a nice guy, and they would all just get me to call Varney. So I was like the strong armer. I'd be like, "Hey, Mike, you got to get our checks," because usually we were broke as
Yeah,
hell.
and you guys were the only ones really selling records.
I mean, we definitely did well.
Besides,
for him.
what Yngwie was Yngwie on there?
Yeah, his big thing was that he owned Steeler, which was
Right.
Yngwie's introduction to America, and then. He after the Steelers stuff, I think he had a Tony McAlpine record that did really well. Just shred was big back then.
It was, man. I remember I met all the guys. Remember the Black Brothers? They were kind of like Van Halen. They were black, and they're two brothers. One guy sang.
God, I slightly remember.
Greg,
Not Greg Howe.
Greg Howe, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Remember his brother? They actually I would see them. They'd play Van Halen note for note,
those dudes were
New
ripped.
Georges and shit. You know what I mean? They'd play Fair Warning. You'd be like, whoa,
Blazing.
they were fucking great.
Yeah, Greg's an amazing dude, and I think he's MD'd for Justin Timberlake and.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's no joke.
Wow.
He still puts out shred records with Mike because that's what he really.
Oh, he
did.
still does it, huh?
But he's MDs for a giant pop act, Christina Aguilera, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. We'll fucking Wikipedia him later.
Right. Yeah, Greg Howe.
Yeah, a lot of those dudes there were a lot of guys that were because they could play so well and rip. They could get gigs like that because they knew what they were doing on the instrument.
Yeah.
So they turned that into. I mean, look at Castronova. He's a shredder, double bass metal drummer, and he's in Journey.
Yeah. Right. I know. Right. Oh man.
Wild Dog.
That's good. Yeah. Look, a lot of people, if they're listening to the show, I mean, that shit, people don't understand, there's still, you could walk around somewhere, in Japan, and someone would be like, oh, you're Juan Alderete, Racer X.
Right.
They go crazy over the shred stuff. It got clowned on later because, of course, you go the opposite.
Right.
Anti-shred.
Right.
But to watch these guys play was pretty fucking impressive. And they always seem to be, just farmers from fucking, I'm from Oklahoma, my name is Jeff. And they come in and just, woo, you go, what the fuck?
Because I always attribute it to that same kind of get really good at video game mentality. They just, whether it was a video game or a guitar, they were just going to go, oh, play fast, that'll get me somewhere. And then they just focused on just burning. There was that one dude, Chris Impellitteri, and he was just a ripper speed guy, but he played the same licks over and over, and you were just but it's fast, so I guess that's why people are in the audience, but or even Nitro. I mean, look at those clowns.
A freight train coming. Those guys are clowns.
I mean, you guys can still see YouTube Nitro. Michelangelo was a guitar player. It's
so great.
It's bizarre. Like anybody would spend that much time mastering some dumb shit like
and
that.
his wig is amazing, right? He has the craziest wig, like still to this day.
Dude, so Racer X is this band, and like, we would always go check out any of the dudes that were like, we'd get told like, oh, this band's challenging you dudes, and we
challenging. It was such a fucking macho thing, right?
It's total
challenge your
meathead.
speed.
Yeah, and we were nobody messed with us. I don't give a fuck.
First of all, you had two amazing fucking guitar players,
right?
Then you had you, and then your singer was fucking great, and then Scott on drums.
Yeah.
Now the singer later played drums in Badland, right?
He played drums.
We'll get in that.
A couple of records, but. So yeah, so everybody's like, oh hey, there's this band Nitro coming through. You guys got to go see him.
At the Stone? Did you go to Stone?
No, this was in L.A.
I saw him at Stone. Yeah.
And so they were playing the Troubadour, and everybody's like, you got to go see him, man. You know, see where the level's at, or some shit like that. So we all go, and they come out, and we're just like, oh, this is funny shit. We're laughing. If they knew that, they were probably thinking, uh-oh, we're intimidated. The Racer X is here, and we're there like going, this is fucking funny as shit.
Hilarious.
And then the best part of the show is they set up a bar stool. It's
right.
corny. It's like no prop band they were. They stick up this bar stool. The guy gets a wine glass, sits it on top of it, and that Jim Gillette dude breaks that fucker in front of everybody.
Yeah, with a vocal. Was that real?
And we were like, holy shit, this is such fucking shit.
Was that real?
Yes,
like
he
they
did.
said. Remember that old commercial? Like you sing a certain octave and you could break glass.
Yeah.
Is that fucking
Dude,
real?
I remember their commercial on Headbangers Ball.
Right.
And then same thing. There's like you see in the commercial the dude's all and then he just hits like King Diamond's fucking high pitch and it just shatters the glass. It's fucking comedy. And I think at that point we were like going, well, I guess kind of some of the shit we're doing is kind of gimmicky and dumb.
Right. Yeah.
Tighten up our game a little.
Yeah. Now, how many records Racer X do? 2?
We did 2 studio records, and we had a third record ready to go, and then we were like, we got to get a bigger label and, really try to do this. We never toured. We only did California, so.
Right.
So,
why didn't you guys tour? No tour money? It was just...
No management, no nothing.
Yeah, just putting records. That's kind of just like a workshop, right? These records you do.
Right.
You learn how to record in a studio.
Right.
But it wasn't really like a touring machine. He would just sell them online.
Right.
Or not online, even in the back of Guitar Player magazine on an ad, like Shrapnel Records, get Racer X, Tony McAlpine, all that. Yeah.
And, like the first Racer X record was only released initially on vinyl. CDs hadn't even, I remember getting test pressings. I still have one. And then they came on CDs or whatever. But then we did a live album for Mike to try to get out of our, to finish our contract or whatever. And then we did Live Extreme Volume 1, Live Extreme Volume 2, and then we were out. And then we bounced, and we broke up. Paul got into Mr. Big.
Yeah, Paul gets into Mr. Big. And
Scott gets into Priest.
Yeah, Scott plays drums in Priest still to this day.
And that was like early 90s when he got that gig.
Yeah.
And then...
that guy got busted for like pedophile shit, that drummer.
The one before Scott.
That's what I'm saying, not Scott. Yeah, the drummer, What's his name? Dave Holland's the bass player? Or
no, Dave Holland.
Dave Holland's the drummer. That's right. Yeah, that's weird, right? He got busted for that.
Super ill. And so... And then we...
Can you imagine being a metal guy just cruising around there like, look at all the chicks.
Just imagine how trippy that like for Glenn and KK being in this band and the drummer's a pedophile and
the
singer's closet. I mean, I'm sure knew. It's not but they were probably like, we got to hide all this from the audience.
I know, right?
That's what I mean.
Just full metal. I mean, you know, in the 80s, it's metal. It's old dudes and they're like, yeah, cool.
And then imagine a billion other kids are like, oh, wait a sec. Eventually it starts making sense. They're like, fuck, motorcycles, leather.
Yeah.
You go to the Castro, like me and you grew up in the Bay. We knew what was up.
That's what I always said.
Oh, Halford. Well, of course he's gay.
I always knew that. Who cared?
Yeah, and who cared? But
he dressed just like the guys in the Castro. I didn't give a fuck.
Right.
Man, they had fucking British Steel out. I could care who you're fucking. As long as they ain't kids. Turns out the drummer was. What a dick. Melt that guy.
And Halford, dude, like to this day can sing that shit.
Oh, God.
How many dudes have no upper register anymore?
Yeah, there's only a couple guys. There was Dio, him, and, You
Maybe
know,
Jeff Tate. I don't even know
maybe,
anymore.
yeah, I don't even know. But that shit, you know, you got to think you're recording the records when you're like 22, 23. No way you think you're going to sing them when you're 60.
Yeah.
60, just scream. You know what I mean? How bummer. I mean, David Lee Roth can't even do the easy stuff, you know?
Fuck, I know him. I mean, God, dude, like Plant. I mean, people wonder why. Oh, Zeppelin will never get back. You know what? That dude doesn't have that vocal anymore.
Yeah.
He's got to go do old bluesy shit.
He
now.
sounded good though on that thing because they just tuned down and he figured out how to do it cool.
Right.
But a lot of guys, you know, like Roth, you know, he's just like up into the air. Oh. He sounds like someone
Axl.
strangling him. Axl.
He can't do that shit.
Yeah, you know, I saw him recently. He could.
No.
Yeah, man.
The same.
I swear.
After all those surgeries.
He can put it out. You know what's weird is his lower register. It's kind of like, you know, when he's like,
It's so easy.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Easy.
Yeah, but he sounds pretty good, actually. I got to admit it, you know?
Fuck, I give it up to Axl. I mean, fuck, how would I ever know?
Yeah.
But hey, so after Racer X, Bruce and I formed this band, The Scream. It was
Yep,
a
I remember.
little metal band that we had.
It was more like rock.
Well, it was
like
rock,
Aerosmith,
yeah.
right?
Right. It was. We were trying to be like that, but then we ended up like it was always this conflict because Bruce wanted to be heavier because he had this like shred thing that he had to meet. You know?
Right.
And Karabi wanted to be more like Black Crows.
Right.
And so we had this.
Karabi, who later sang with Motley, if you're listening to this,
Right.
one record, he did that. That was a good song, though. What was it? Primal Scream, or what was that song he
something Scream. I don't remember.
Was that him? Primal Scream? No, that's that was Vince. I forget the song he did.
Yeah.
It was pretty good though.
I mean, that record with John was decent for that day, and you know, it's so crazy, dude. Like some of the craziest shit I've gone through. One of them was like when John got that gig.
Yeah.
He was like, "Hey, oh man, I'm at rehearsals. Can you help my wife move out of the apartment? We rented a house." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I go to his apartment, which was like off of like Franklin or something, like
Right.
up in the hill a little.
Yeah.
Roach infested. He had 2 kids and his wife and him in one bedroom. It was just gross, dude.
Wow.
And just, you know, no furniture, just fucked up. And I'm loading this shit that he could probably she should have just thrown away and bought all new.
Yeah.
But loading it into this U-Haul and then driving it to like a 3,800 square foot home in Calabasas near Tommy and Nikki.
Right.
And just like just watching it, like literally like that dream happened of like here's this dude. And John was what? He was like in his late 30s maybe. By
Right.
then. And or maybe mid 30s. But anyway, he's you know, he's going fucking from fucking this shit ass apartment. And then
With 2 kids, 1 bedroom.
yeah, and then he's fucking in this 38 square 100 foot, and he's got like they bought him like a fucking $30,000 Harley.
Yeah,
You know
man.
what I mean? And my dad, for some fucking reason, was down here, and he was just like, "Hey, this stuff can really happen. Like this is like some
Yeah.
dream shit that happens for
Right.
you know." And I go right here. This is proof that this you fucking it's lottery city. You know,
Yep.
you got a lotto ticket.
You know what that's like for him? Like a guy who played quarterback all his life. Then he gets in the NFL, and the first game he blows out his shoulder. You know what I mean? That's kind of like, because you get a taste of everything, and then it's
Right.
pulled out underneath you.
Right.
I remember seeing Karabi after he was in, and he had gone to truck driving school.
Yeah.
And he was driving tour buses.
I mean,
That's fucking weird. Do you remember that?
Ooh, he didn't tell me that. I knew he was getting his truck driving license.
Yeah, he was driving tour buses. That's what he told me. You know, I saw him one night at some shitty
He
little bar.
loves the road, man. So
Yeah, weird, huh?
Oh man. So yeah, fuck. I mean, he you know, he knew what he was getting into. I mean, I will say that. So he knew that it wasn't a shoe-in type thing.
Right. Now, the Scream signs to Hollywood Records, which was brand new at the time. Disney owned them.
Right.
I remember the chick that signed it was fucking
Rachel
checking.
Matthews.
She was checking IDs at the Paradise one month, you know, working at the Paradise Lounge, and the next month she's doing A&R for fucking Hollywood
The
Records.
head of A&R.
The head of A&R.
Yeah, we got she took us in to meet Michael Eisner. And we're like, oh, whoa, Michael Eisner came to see us.
Yeah.
You know, still like the greatest CEO of that
Who was
company.
fucking her, Rachel, in your band?
No one.
No one?
No, she was going out with one of the dudes in one of the other bands. It was Something Soul or
She was kind of hot, huh?
Something Soul.
For the time?
Yeah. I don't even fuck, dude. That
Yeah.
wasn't she's not my style. But yeah. Oh, you know who I was talking to yesterday was Tony Isabella.
Wow.
I might go do this Deltron 3030 tour.
Yeah. Now, Dr. Octagon was her boyfriend, right?
Well, that wasn't her boyfriend. She manages.
Oh, I thought they were
she
going out.
manages Dan the Automator, who made that record with Cool Keith.
Right, I remember.
I played bass in that band.
I remember.
And then I got offered to do Deltron, and I remember for some reason I turned it down. And then this guy Merlot ended up doing it. Jack Johnson saw Deltron 3030 play and went to that bass player and said, "Go with me." Now
Right.
that dude's a millionaire.
We're all over the board right now, this interview.
Oh,
Hold
fuck
on.
yeah, dude.
You sign it. Okay, Racer X ends.
All right.
You start up
Edit
a
this
rock
shit.
band. Yeah, no, I'm the same way. Yeah, I'm the same way though.
No.
But you start you start the Scream, then Karabi quits
Right.
to join Motley Crue.
Right.
Scream kind of puts one record out. You had a
Right.
video. I remember it was pretty good. What was it?
Father, Mother, Son.
I loved it.
Yeah.
That was a fucking good record, man.
Yeah.
And not because I know you, but it was a good rock record. But the record I liked was when he left, you got a new singer and you did like DC 10.
Right.
This band was great. They were like a funk Stevie Wonder rock band.
Right.
I remember your singer, man. What was his name? He dressed
Billy Fogarty.
that guy dressed straight up 1972.
Yeah.
He was like redneck. He was black in a white guy's body.
Totally.
It was crazy, right?
Yeah, he was a trip. Like we found him. And he was.
How'd you find him?
He was in New York. Somebody hooked us up with him. I don't remember who, but somebody hooked us up. He was just like in some gutter rock New York fucking bands. Back then when New York, the island of was fucking cool. It wasn't all Brooklyn. It was
Right.
And so we flew him out and we were like, this dude's it. He plays guitar great. He plays drums great. He's just ill as fuck. And
He dressed like a 70s pimp.
yeah, like the Hey Ladies video when you
That's
see the
right.
Beastie Boys, like that whole thing was his
Yeah, he
shit.
had like polyester slacks.
Yeah.
He had some old man shoes on. He was
Yeah.
way James Brown.
Yeah.
And he was just fucking funky. And the record was great. Like I think it's still having on cassette over there.
Yeah, like we had Mario C from the Beastie Boys produce it. Mario C from the producer, Money Mark, who was playing keys in the Beastie Boys, he played on it. Abe Laborio Jr. eventually, Paul McCartney's drummer, eventually was our drummer.
Wow.
Because we ended up getting rid of
He
Walt.
lives up the street here.
Oh, no shit.
Somewhere, yeah. And then one of the Dust Brothers lives right there.
Which one?
Right
Easy
there.
Mike?
Forget which one, but his house is for sale, and it's fucking unbelievable. And that's where they did all the records right there. The Dust Brothers. There's two houses. One's super ultra modern. The other one's like an old Spanish. The old Spanish is like where he did the back record, where it's at, and all that shit.
Yeah.
Right there, man.
Well, I knew those. That's how we ended up meeting Mario C. Because before DC-10 made that record you heard, we were trying to figure out what to do, and Hollywood Records had hooked us up with the Dust Brothers, and so we loved Paul's Boutique, and we were just like, oh fuck, this will be ill. And so we go into the studio with them, and I don't know, we didn't really get much out of it. We covered Wars, Me and Baby Brother,
Right.
and then we met Mario through that. And we were like, well, fuck, we should just work with Mario and blow these dudes out. So we blew those dudes out, got working with Mario, made that DC-10 record.
It was great. What happened to that record?
Hollywood didn't know what to do with it. There was this like, this isn't what people were expecting from you dudes, and it's just wasn't the same thing. And like I remember when we did our one show before like the record was about to come out, all the labels there, Money Mark's playing with us. We got a percussionist. It's super funky, and then we just see as like about 3 songs into it, you start seeing the Hollywood Records people walking out.
You could see him.
Yeah, and you're literally tearing up on stage going, my life again, I'm getting dropped.
Yeah.
And so then, sure enough, next day we got dropped. And,
God, next day.
Literally the next fucking day.
Wow.
Hey, they're not putting your record out. You guys are dropped, free to go. Oh, I know what we're going to do. We're going to go get another record deal. We own the record because we did.
Yeah.
Fuck no. Like, you become cancer. And,
Oh, man. What people don't understand is if you get dropped by a label in the 80s or the early 90s, it was definitely cancer.
Right.
You were totally done.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? And you got to think about like when Wilco got dropped from their label and another label bought him, which was owned by the label that dropped him. These days people go, hey, this is a fucking good record. Our score.
Right.
But back then it wasn't like that. It was just like, nobody wanted the other labels used baggage.
Right. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Fucking bad news. You got to think about the nucleus of Racer X. all the guys, except for Bruce, but I think Bruce became like a producer, right? But all the guys played in big shit. You got Scott Travis plays in Judas Priest. You got Paul Gilbert played in Mr. Big.
Right.
And then you later went on to play in Mars Volta.
Right.
And the singer played drums on Badland, a couple records.
Right.
What happened to the singer?
He lives up in Tahoe. He still plays drums on like a lot of Barney records.
Right.
And
What was his name?
Jeff Martin.
Jeff Martin, right? Yeah.
I mean, dude, he's got great stories.
Jeff
have him on.
Yeah, I would.
Dude, he played with Shanker. So anytime you hear Michael Shanker, there's gonna be crazy stories.
Yeah.
He has the best stories of being on tour because he used to play drums, I think, with Kevin Dubrow.
Oh wow!
Before he died, obviously. But,
right.
Of course that. But I mean, but like literally right before he died.
Right.
And they did this tour.
Yeah.
Where it was Quiet Riot.
Yep.
And it was Janie Lane.
Oh wow!
And it was Steven Adler.
Wow!
So those are the three fuck ups of heavy metal.
Imagine the drug hunt going on in each town,
dude. The stories he would tell me because he played drums for all of them.
All three? Oh, it was like that, huh?
Yeah.
Whoa,
dude. I mean,
one check.
I'll tell you a little, but you should have him.
I will, but give me a good one.
Fuck. He said that Janie Lane would just kick it in his bunk, drinking vodka by himself to the head, dude. Just like.
Yeah.
Eating pizzas and shit in there.
Wow.
Just in his bunk. Would not go out.
Just in the submarine. Just fucking wouldn't hang with anybody.
No, just ill. Darkness.
That's weird, huh?
Yeah, and then fucking Adler, who's had a stroke from doing cocaine.
Yeah.
Still blowing rails.
Oh, yeah.
And then Dubrow ends up dying blowing rails.
Yeah.
Like, guy's like, what, 60 or 50 or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, he's just doing coke. He was clean for a while, and then he's out in Vegas in some dope hut. Did a 3-day bender and just gone or something. That's crazy.
Like Entwistle, Entwistle just like sitting there going.
He was the secret partier, huh? Just John Entwistle, just cocaine and whores. That's dark. Rock is dark, right? You ever get into drugs?
Well, I mean,
I don't remember you ever partying.
No. In Racer X, I definitely didn't. And then in the Scream, like we started to party a little more and shit.
Right.
We always used to kick it with the Bullet Boys. You remember that band?
Man. What are you talking about? Remember that band, dude? I was in their video and did shows with them. Love of Money, dude. Love of Money.
Shit.
Remember their manager, Mark or something? What was his name?
Something like that.
Yeah. Dude.
Yes.
Dave.
It was
Dave. That's right. Dave Kaplan?
Kaplan.
Yeah.
Dave Kaplan. Yeah. And so those dudes were crazy parties.
Those guys did coke daily.
They were the ones who, I remember they were the ones who came up with the phrase save the world.
Right.
Because they would always be like, hey man, go to the back of the bus with me. We're going to go save the world. And that was code for
that was the code?
Because you'd do your first line and then all you'd want to do is talk positive shit. Like, fuck, dude. Like if I was fucking the president, dude, I would just put all this money into poor people and then they would be cool and then things would just get better. And, dude, I think I fucking love you for saying that, bro.
Coke raps.
Yeah, Coke raps forever. And those dudes were the craziest.
Yeah, they were.
And GAC, I always remember that came.
That was Van Halen.
Was it Van?
No, Van Halen had Krell. That was there. And then GAC was Bullet Boys. That's right.
Yeah.
I remember the Bullet Boys just wanted to be Van Halen. So they just basically read books and said, this is what they did on this tour. Let's do that.
Hey, I saw Mark Tureen, the singer of the Bullet Boys, play in Hawk.
Yeah.
With Scott Travis on drums. Do you remember that guy Doug Marks who always had a amazing guitar player?
Yeah, Doug Marks. Yeah.
He was a guitar player.
Wow.
I forget the singer's name, but dude, Tureen was like a shreddy, Doug Marks had quit, and so Tureen was playing guitar.
Yep.
And I was like, who's this dude who looks like George Lynch? Because he had the same color
remember
hair.
that? Yeah.
And then, but he would rip like Van Halen. Like nobody knew when he started singing lead like that. But he was like a better guitar player than the
he
Bullet
played
Boy
in
guitar player.
King Cobra for a minute too.
Right.
I saw Bullet Boys, I remember about 10 years ago or something. They came back through San Fran. No, it had to be about fucking 14 because I've been here 12 years now.
Right.
They played a gig with, he had a bunch of fake guys in the band. And I remember I went down to go see him, just to see him, because I hadn't seen Mark in years and we were old friends. So I go in and I never forgot what he said to me. He's all, hey man, don't be a fool. Jesus is cool. And I was like, what? And he's all, think about it, man. And then I was like, right on. And I walked out of the dressing room. He went on and he was doing like Jesus raps in between songs and shit. He was all spun out on God. So he must have had one of those bad coke overdoses where you're like, whoa, and you find God real quick.
Oh, shit.
I always say that, man. You have a bad coke high, you immediately find God. Or if you go to prison, right?
Oh, God, that's ugly. I remember like the worst night of partying ever was with the drummer in the Bullet Boys, Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy.
And he would post
Jimmy
up.
looks good right now, huh?
Yeah, but he would go post up and those dudes blew through their money, but he would go post up in a hotel room, even though he lived in L.A.
Yeah.
He'd post up in a hotel in L.A. and we would go kick it with him. Like I remember doing bumps with him and Jerry Cantrell at the Cat House.
Yeah.
Like we just go in the in the little stall and me and Jerry and Jimmy are blown, doing bumps at least.
Yeah, yeah.
But then we continued it to his hotel, and I fucking remember just getting so high and then passing out in the bathroom, and then people are pounding on the doors and like, who fucking passes out on coke? You stay awake, but I don't know. It just knocked me out. Like,
he probably had a little dope in there.
Oh, fuck. And I just remember I was walking to go get cigarettes. We were at the Universal or something studio, one of the hotels by Universal Studios.
Oh, yeah.
Walking out to some gas station to go get cigarettes at like 7 a.m. There's tons of traffic.
Oh,
and
people
it's
going to
smoggy
work.
and hot. Yeah, and I'm like smoking a cigarette and I'm going, I can't. This is the worst fucking thing in the world.
It is the worst feeling, right?
Just that drug is the worst fucking
and
thing.
The sun out, man.
Oh.
Wow, the sun is like a fucking boot to the face when you've been up all night.
Yeah.
You open the door, it's like, wow.
I remember it was like the same time like we were there and we see fucking MC Hammer roll up with like fucking 30 deep entourage.
What?
Yeah, in
At the
same
hotel?
hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Just walking in, and he walks in front of everybody. He's got like this, he's in complete white, just like big ass baggy pants, and he's walking around ordering everybody around, and everybody's on those giant cell phones because
the bricks.
Yeah, so he's on the bricks. They're all like making moves or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like, fuck, MC.
You guys are all cocaine hungover.
And we're just all, whoa, MC Hammer, dude. Fuck. Yeah, you almost think that you're hallucinating because you've been up all night.
You might have been. That'd have been great. Now let's get into a little bit. Now I didn't see you for a long time, but what I thought was you quit playing bass and became a lawyer. Am I hallucinating?
No. I was in a bunch of bands in the '90s that were like all indie rock bands.
Right.
I kind of eventually figured like I should do the music that I set out to do.
Right.
I was telling you
like
earlier,
Killing Joke and stuff.
And I was always into like just a lot of different bands, and so I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. So I was in a band called Distortion Felix for a while, and
I remember that band.
Yeah, with my friend Manny.
Oh yeah, with Manny.
Yeah,
that band was great.
Yeah, Manny's band, Little Gods.
Oh,
Remember?
Manny band, Little Gods.
Yes.
Bullet Boy stole their song from him and then
he
paid
sued
them out.
Yeah.
Little Gods were amazing, but I don't think they got anywhere because they were all Hispanic. You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too, because it was like such a racist. Rock is racist.
And metal even more so.
Metal is racist.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? Because all Hispanic people listen to metal,
Right.
but labels don't sign them. And if they do, they're like a Mexican metal band or
Right.
something. You know what I mean?
Right.
But Little Gods were fucking amazing, man.
They opened up for Racer X. I remember I met Manny. I saw him at a play, and I just went, who the fuck is this guitar player? Because I knew Bobby D.
That's right.
And so Bobby's like, oh, my Manny, let me introduce you. And then Manny and I became best friends, and we were finally like, let's do music we really want to do. And then we created Distortion Felix. And then I, played in Pet, like I was telling you earlier. And then I started a band called Big Sur with Tim from Rage Against the Machine.
Oh, yeah.
Bruce from
Oh,
Racer X.
were you living with Tim for a while?
I lived by him. He convinced me to move out to Venice where he was living right when Rage started to blow up. He's like, come out here and live by me. And I'm like, all right, cool. And we started Big Sur, and it was Bruce from Racer X, me and Tim.
I never heard that band.
Yeah, and then we got Lisa was singing in Pet with me. She did the vocals. And then,
chick singer, I'm out.
Yeah. Hey, but she can. I'm
fucking with you,
yeah,
dude.
but that Pet record, she screams her out.
That's funny shit, though, right?
Yeah,
Anybody back in the day would just say that.
Yeah.
Oh, chick in the band, I'm out.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I mean, more so back then. Than
Not
everybody.
now.
I'm
No.
cool.
Fuck, I love shit. It's just hilarious when you're a kid. They got a chick singer. Out.
Yeah.
You know
There's
what I
no
mean?
way it could be good.
Yeah.
So
Isn't that
anyway,
weird?
yeah, fuck
Just
yeah.
stupid small box thinking. You know what I mean?
So we started this band Big Sur, that was cool. We put out a couple records, and then, I kind of was like, oh fuck, man, this indie rock world doesn't pay either. Like, I was on tour with Pep for a long time, and then
we're like grown men. People always ask, hey, how come you don't play music anymore? It's like, we're grown men, and I can't even fucking buy like burgers.
Right.
You're eating top ramen as a grown man still? It's like, fuck this. And you're married. Your wife eventually goes,
not yet. At that point, I wasn't married. But I was just like, fed up. And I was just like, man, I'm going to try to go to school. So I did go back to school, got my degree in English literature. And I was like, I want to be a lawyer. I'm going to fucking defend bands. That was my whole angle.
Yeah, get the money.
Yeah, I was just like, there's that one dude who does it down in Orange County. He used to be in punk bands. I can't remember. It's Joe Escalante.
Yeah.
And he does that. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do what he's doing. And I remember even emailing him, and he emailed me back, why would you ever want to be a lawyer? And I was like, uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
And so then I studied for it, and then I took the LSAT, and I was just like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I'm bailing on it. So I bailed on it, and I was just like doing a day job, like writing traffic reports for fucking on-air people. Like whatever they read, like, oh, there's a SIG alert on the 405 South, and I wrote the text for them.
Oh.
So I did that for like...
Man, you went way down.
Yeah, I was like 2-3 years of doing that. And then I'm at work, and Omar from Mars Volta calls me.
Right.
And,
Now, how's he get your number? Does he know you?
Manny. From Distortion Felix. He had seen Cedric and Omar at a bar, and they were like kind of bumming, like, yeah, we don't have a bass player. Our record's about to come out, and we got all these tour dates with the Chili Peppers. We don't know what we're going to do. This is what I've been told. But anyway, so Manny's like, hey, these guys in At the Drive-In are, starting this band Mars Volta. They're going to call you. And, I was just like, well, all right, cool. So Omar calls me up, and I hadn't heard any music.
Right.
And I was a fan of De Facto. They had a dub band called De Facto, and Mario C did it. And
that's right.
Like, fuck, that's ill. I think these dudes are probably ill. And so, but anyway, so I was into De Facto. Then, Omar called me, and I was like, I'm going to fucking do this. And plus, like, to play in a band with Latinos, I was like, fuck yes.
Yeah.
I'm down. I'm always down for fucking the Browns. So I was like, let's do this. So then, I got music from it, and I was like, holy shit, this shit's fucking out there.
Right.
Like, it was like King Crimson.
Oh, it was like
a Latin kind of thing.
Yeah.
Let alone like some kind
Santana Rush Zeppelin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
With Zeppelin in there, but then also some like Can and some fucking like just like I was like, this shit.
It was so fucking different.
And ahead of just out of nowhere. And so I was like, yes, I want to do it. Absolutely. I'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm saying this. So I just said, please give me a chance. And so my wife was like, take a 3-week break from your job and just focus. And, I'm like, that's what I'm going to do. And I remember like, she was going crazy because I was like literally I know how to practice. And so I was doing like 14-hour a day practice.
Right.
Playing their music. It's not that
was your hands getting fucked up?
Nah, not. I was just in it.
Right,
I was in it for to make this happen. And then I went in, and the first day of auditions, it was like, I get there, nobody's there at the time we're supposed to meet up.
Yeah.
Except for Henry, who's Omar's tech, and so I'm really nervous, and I'm setting up my gear, and he starts playing Scarified, Racer X.
Yeah?
Because he's a shredder guitar player.
Right.
Because
he knows who you are.
Yeah, and I look over, and he smiles at me, and Henry's just the most lovable dude, and I was like, all right, I'm good. I'm going to be at least comfortable now.
Fuck yeah, because he probably whispered in their ear like, this guy's great from the old day.
Yeah, he can play. And so we play, and it's first day was awesome. I felt it was really cool, and then I just go, so should I take my gear at the end? And Omar's just like, oh no, can you come back tomorrow? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And I'm thinking, like, in my head, I'm thinking, are these other motherfuckers who come in on audition and
play on your gear? Yeah. They're gonna audition dudes on your gear.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, what do I give a fuck? Like, guys, like, wake up, dude. Who gives a fuck? If they blow up your gear or whatever, you got to get this gig. So cool. So I go home and I tell my wife it went really well. I think I go, that drummer John Theodore is insane.
Yeah,
he is like Bonham, but with like these fucking abilities that I've never heard. And
right.
And I go, and Omar is just like, you can tell he's just like the mastermind. So then I go, the next day, And I don't know. I think I got overconfident.
Yeah.
So I started popping off on some mistakes.
Oh no.
And I was like, and then it gets in your head.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, these dudes are going, this fool's a clown. And
Right.
I'm like, oh, fuck. So, but I think I'm too hard on myself.
Right.
And I really believe that's what it was. So then at the end, I go up to him and I was like, oh, hey, man, I'm really sorry. Like, I didn't play that great, you know. I'll get that part down, man. And I realized that nobody came in, so I'm thinking maybe they're just looking at me right now.
Right.
And so I go, but I promise I'll get it down, man. If you give me a chance, I'll get it down for tomorrow if you want to play tomorrow. And he goes, well, you better get it down. We have a show on Friday.
Whoa.
And I go, I mean, you mean I'm in? And he looks at me and goes, oh, I didn't tell you. Yeah, you're in. You got it.
What?
And I was like, after day 2 audition, and I was like, fuck.
Wow.
So I'm super juiced. And then I call my wife and shit and said, the third day was like the band, like, you know, they all come in. And so I meet Ike and Jeremy at the time, who was not with us anymore, but he was super sweet to me.
Right.
Very like, he was the guy I initially went to kind of like, I would go kick it with him because he just wasn't intimidating to me. So
right.
he was super cool.
The other guys were intimidating to you, huh?
Well, because they didn't say much. Omar
Right.
and Cedric just weren't.
Kind of like a cult, right?
Well, they were just like, they just would never say shit to the new people. They would
Right.
talk to each other or whatever, but
Right.
the new dude, they're a suspect of you as much as, you know, you are of what you're about to get your life into.
Yeah, it's like when I talked to you, right? And I said, how come you're never fucking, how come you're not on the album covers?
Oh, yeah, I wasn't on that. I wasn't on that first album, right? I didn't spell it.
No.
Yeah, I wasn't on that first record. I saw you at a Slayer show,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Or
Yep,
Priest.
Slayer.
It's Slayer. And I remember you're like, oh, dude, what's with this dude Omar? He's like, it's produced by Omar, written by Omar, artwork by Omar, labeled by Omar. And I'm like, oh, you know, he's one of those dudes who does everything, you know, whatever. And I remember thinking that forever. And I even told Cedric that like later on. I'm like, dude, this guy, when you go meet him, I go, he was that guy I told you about that I saw at Slayer, you know. And he's like, oh, okay, cool.
I always bust balls, you know what I mean? Because like you got Juan Alderete in your band. I was talking to somebody about it on my podcast a couple of days ago. If you're a kid right now, why would you learn drums or bass? No one ever gives them any money or credit. It's the fucking worst instruments to learn because you like drums, you got to carry all around. Bass, you used to have the SVT. It was huge.
Right.
And then you just get nothing. You know, at the end of the day, they're like, you didn't write shit. No money for you. You play bass, stand in the back or whatever. And I was like, why would you learn those instruments right now?
Right.
Every kid would be like, oh, fuck that.
Right. I mean, drummers, it's such a weird world right now, but drummers, like if you look at YouTubes of drummers, they get more YouTubes than any independent.
Yeah. Bill Burr's way into that. He'll show me videos of drummers. There's one kid that he's like 13. He plays like bonzo.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, whoa, millions.
Yeah,
you know?
millions of hits because drums are like sports. It's so physical and just like dynamic.
It's so hard to play.
Yes, yeah. I mean, Steve Albini said that. He said that he's, you know, the two things he respects most in musicians or music is the vocals and drums because those are the two hardest things to do well.
They are.
There's a billion great guitar players, bass players, keyboard players, whatever. But to sing well or to play
singers
drums,
are like quarterbacks. There's only a few out there.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm not even a sports guy, but you always hear like the NFL, there's just no quarterbacks. We grew up in the 80s.
Right.
You had like fucking Plunkett, Montana, the dude on Cowboys, Troy Aikman.
Yeah.
You had the dude on Denver.
Oh, Elway.
Elway. You had Marino.
Right.
You had Jim McMahon.
Marino, dude.
All these guys were like frontmen.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Just great at what they did.
Yeah.
Same with the 80s. Great frontmen. Rob Halford, Diamond Dave.
Diamond
Dave, fucking.
Diamond Dave.
Yeah, Diamond Dave.
Dude, you should have my friend Bart on here because he played with David Lee Roth after David Lee Roth bands.
Right.
So it wasn't anybody really big, and he was the original guitar player for Atomic Punks.
Oh yeah, I got
So he went on tour with Dave, and the wild ass shit. Like just one story for that dude. That dude would tear up fucking tour buses. Like he would smell something, and go, pull this bus over. And he said in the middle of fucking nowhere and wake everybody up, get off the bus. And he would just destroy it, empty it out.
What?
On a fucking highway. Just empty out the tour, tear out bunks, tear out TVs.
What was he looking for?
He just said something smelled and it was driving him crazy.
Wow.
Bananas.
I
dude.
did some road shows with Roth.
No.
Yeah, my band Tulane opened.
Really?
Yeah.
Who was the guitar player back then?
Dude.
Terry Broadbent?
No, you want to know who was in the band? What's his name? Dun 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 dun. Frankenstein.
Edgar Winter?
Edgar. The other one.
Johnny Winter.
Edgar Winter.
Edgar
Yeah,
Winter.
the keyboard
Yeah,
one.
keyboard.
He played, and he was in the band. It was such a weird era, dude.
What the fuck?
I remember they played Frankenstein. I'll never forget though, Dave, man. He was kind of like that dude from LSD, you know, who played that played the bum. As soon as you open the door, the smile would come on, like that smile would be on, and he would be telling stories. And you never got a story in ever. It was great though, you know.
But Dave sunk all this money in this movie.
Oh, I saw it. It's one. If anybody has seen this,
He wanted to be Fellini. He goes, I want to be taken seriously like Fellini. That's what he would do.
it was the funniest movie I've ever seen.
Where he's in Japan and shit.
It's everything. First, they built something at his house.
In Pasadena, right?
Yeah, like a full blown weird thing, like a almost like a fucking snow globe kind of thing. And shot this weird shit. They had like fucking little people,
right?
And it was also partially shot at the Kermit the Frog studio over there, across the street from Crazy Girls. A&M it was at the time, right? Henson's now it's called.
Right.
But that film, man, I think you can see, you know, who has it? It was Ross Robinson. And while Korn was doing their last record, I was hanging out, and they would watch it every day because David Lee Roth, drummer, that's where they got it.
Ray Luzier.
Ray is in Korn
Ray
now.
was playing drums when Bart was in
Ray
it.
has the fucking film.
So did Bart.
And if anybody can see this David Lee Roth film, it is straight up Hollywood insanity. Like
awesome.
at its fucking Mach 10.
Awesome,
right? You've seen it, right?
Fuck, it's got to get released.
It's got to get released.
Somebody's got to just.
There's like one
it.
scene where he's got some crocodiles out in the driveway and he's walking with them, you know, on these leashes. There's guys in like leather outfits. It's so insane.
Are you serious?
Yeah. You haven't seen it?
No.
Oh, I can get it.
He showed me a couple of clips when I hung out with him one time.
Yeah,
and I
it's
was like,
fucking
what
weird.
The fuck, he's bananas, dude.
They had it running on loop in the studio, and you just look up every couple minutes and go, what the fuck's going on right here?
Hey, what about the shit that he's done like in his life though? Like wasn't he like a paramedic?
He was
in New York?
in New York.
And isn't he living in Japan?
Now he's living in Japan to learn full blow like sword ninja fighting with swords.
Insanity.
Yeah, I love that guy.
I mean, he's in a rock band. Like maybe it's their, I don't consider Van Halen metal, but people do. But I mean, come on, they did such shit that metal bands would never do.
Yeah, they're not metal at all.
So anyway, so they're a hard rock band, but like he was such an out there artist. He really was, man. He made it. He made. They were a fucking bar band with a ripping guitar player.
Yeah,
and he made them special.
He did, man.
Give him props.
He
dude.
was telling me stories about like I remember I used to have my parents had a station wagon. I'd load it up with flyers. I'd start at Gazzari's and I'd drive down Sunset and flyer every piece of pussy I could see. And he'd do it 24/7 in the station wagon, man. It was just he was telling me how like Bill Gazzari would just give him money and go, keep going, kid. You're gonna be huge. Like give him money to do the flyers. He was like the original flyer guy. No and he goes, I would flyer right over Sonny and Cher flyers. Sonny and Cher flyers. That puts it in the time frame. Right? You're going, what the fuck year is this? He's like, 1974, kid. You were in your dad's ball sack.
Fuck.
You know, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
He says weird shit.
Dude, I mean, when you think about it, like all those things that we went through, like I remember fucking being out in that area, like by the Roxy. People don't, because they, like every band I play with, because I'm always older than the fools that I'm playing with.
Yeah.
And they're always like, oh, tell us some stories. Or I'll tell them, I go, dude, it used to be thousands of people in front of Gazzari's.
Thousands.
Roxy,
Thousands.
Everybody with flyers and girls just there to see guys.
I don't think it looked like an amusement park.
Right.
Sunset Strip was like Disneyland for 4 blocks, and it was just thousands of people like on a ride.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what it was. That rock and roll was
everywhere.
A ride.
Hollywood was way more music than film industry.
It
like
was,
than it is now.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember when I first moved to LA in '85. EP55, I remember one of the first people I remember seeing on Hollywood Boulevard was Axl.
Yeah.
He had either half his head shaved or he had a mohawk. I couldn't tell because I just saw the side of
Right.
it. And I remember my friends like, it's Axl Rose. He's in this band, Guns N' Roses. And I was like, I don't know who that is.
Yep.
You know, or it
Yeah.
might have been, it might have even been Guns N' Roses. It might have even been the band.
Hollywood
before.
Rose or
it
whatever. Yeah.
But I remember he did literally look like he was in the Clash.
Yeah.
And I remember reading a LA Weekly or BAM magazine interview with him, and he was like, you know, people think we're heavy metal, and he goes, I never heard us as that. I always heard of us as the Clash. But you know, back then the genres were so fucking weird.
It was blurred.
Crossy and blurred.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I always talk to AWOL, this guy. He's a drummer for the Beastie Boys. He does all the punk rock shit,
yeah.
but he's the original drummer of Suicidal Tendencies.
Right.
And, you know, he knew Racer X, and he and I are the same age, and he was just like, back then, you just didn't know. Like, were you into metal? Were you into hardcore? Were you into punk? Like, you'd go to all the shows.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you find your whatever you were in.
San Francisco was different because it was such a fucking a chopped line when
Right.
Metallica came and Exodus
Right.
and all that. I remember there was a heavy duty Kill Posers, you know, that
Right.
thing, Kill Posers.
Right.
I remember vividly being in front of the Mabue Garden one night. I saw Metallica and there was some
They
glam.
played the Mabue?
Yeah, it was
Or they
either
played the
them
Stone?
or Exodus played. One of the two,
They
but
had
we were
metal
out.
shows there?
Oh, yeah, they do metal there.
I just remember him doing punk.
No, they do metal. AK played there. My first band, they do metal nights. But I remember there was like a glam
Like
show.
Metal Mondays?
Like that at the old Waldorf. Yeah, right? But I remember them throwing bottles at the guys at the Stone going, posers.
No
you know,
shit.
there was that very, very macho line drawn like, you guys dressed like fucking chicks, you know, and
Right.
metal up your ass and all that, man. I mean, it was like.
Even though their jeans were tight as fuck.
Oh, tight as fuck, man. And they even had fucking some hairdos going.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I
so
mean?
weird. And I remember the Mabue. I remember seeing.
Remember the owner, Ness?
Yes,
You
yeah.
never play here again.
Right.
Get out, you no play. He would be so mad if you were drunk and shit.
Oh fuck! Who's Sax Bomb, baby?
Yeah.
Flipper. I remember seeing
Oh,
Flipper,
Flipper.
there.
Oh, yeah.
I saw Flipper there. I remember seeing.
I saw Devo there, dude.
I saw the Plugs there.
Yeah, yeah. Dead Kennedys.
Yeah, but then I'd go to Metal Mondays, and I remember
Me too.
seeing. I would see. What was that band that they were from San Francisco and they moved to LA and they got huge, and they were kind of like.
Jet Boy?
No, they were. The guy had a shredder guitar player and a weird singer who was kind of like David Lee Roth, but they were huge down here. Oh fuck! Anyway, I'd see the singer like 10 years, 15 years after the fact, and he was living out in Venice as like one of those weird street people.
Wow.
And I remember like, that's that singer from that band. They were huge. They would sell at the Troubadour.
Wow, who was it?
Oh, you would Hans Noddy.
Oh, Hans Noddy.
That singer.
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
like
wow.
living in Venice. Like he only owned a bike.
Yeah.
And he would just like set up and do like crazy tricks and shit.
Wow.
Just like just kind of maybe homeless, maybe.
Wow, yeah, yeah.
You know, weird.
Rock eats people up, right? Whoo, man. Like you'll see a guy.
Yeah.
And they'll just be like that you knew from the day. Like you and I are totally normal as
Right.
far as like
We can tell,
humans.
yeah.
I mean, we live in a house.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
right,
Or whatever.
right, exactly.
But you see guys and they'll be like, oh, hey, man, remember me? I played bass in Le Mans. And you're just like, oh, whoa, is that you, Jimmy? You know, you're looking at the guy like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Or remember, God, a couple dudes just like went out, like Derek Frigo.
Yeah, Frigo died.
Yeah.
Right.
Walt, the drummer from the Scream.
Yep.
He moved to.
Oh, Walt. What happened to
Yeah.
that guy?
He moved. After the Scream broke up and shit. Or we didn't break up. We fired him or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
he was like an alcoholic.
Yeah. So he moved out to work at his sister's bar.
Wow.
So we were like, I remember telling Bruce back then, I go, that's the worst thing he could do because he's going to be dead. And then he died like, I don't know, like 5 years ago.
Wow.
He had cirrhosis of the liver.
Yep.
And I remember Karabi told me Karabi's doing some whack metal gig that he was doing, and Walt showed up, and he said that he goes, I'm singing, and it's like the parting of the sea. This fucking blonde-haired old dude comes walking up, and it's Walt, and he walks right up to the stage as Karabi's singing, and he goes, "Fuck you! You ruined my life!"
Whoa!
And then blew out of the club.
Really?
Yeah.
He came down just for that.
Yeah. Oh,
Wow.
I got to tell you this story because this kicked into this other one, Motley Crue one.
Yeah.
So John's in Motley Crue doing whatever, and we'd done the screen. I mean, we did DC-10, and so we were like mixing our record. Motley's in there mixing their record or something, and so John's was like, "Yeah, Tommy and Nicky are coming down. They want to hear." And so we played them some stuff, and it was cool. And then Tommy's just like, you know. Nicky, that's right. He had a laptop. Like, so I was like, "Whoa, this dude's got this weird computer that's like mobile."
Yeah, mobile.
And we were like, "Holy shit!" And he was looking at porn on it.
Yeah.
And fucking, he's like, "Check this out, Tommy." And we were like, "Whoa, you can watch shit on there." And we were blown away. We were all kind of like looking at it. And Tommy's like, "Fuck, Nicky, this is getting me some. This fucking get me so fucking horny. Let's call some fucking strippers from across because we were at A&M."
Yeah.
So
Right there, Crazy Girls.
He's like, "You in?" And he looks at me, and I'm like, yeah. And I'm thinking, I'm like, I want to not say no to Tommy Lee, so yes, I'm in.
Yeah.
And so he's like, "Yeah, we got some girls coming over," and they start loading up to party.
Yeah.
Like they're ordering drugs. They're fucking ordering strippers from across the way. They're gonna come into A&M.
Just 1 second in.
Dude, I snuck the fuck out of there. I'm not partying with these dudes.
Yeah.
Fuck
That's
all
some
that.
pro partying.
Dude, they're on some other level shit.
Yeah.
Like Tommy was just like, "I want to do what they're doing in the video," and in the video it was like one of those pornos where the guy's swinging.
Yeah, he had a swing in his house.
Yeah, and so Tommy's like, "We're doing that," and I'm just like going, "Fuck these two dudes, they go too far."
Well, once Tommy's dick comes out, everybody's got to leave, right? It's like, "Oh man, you brought that to the party."
yeah, really, dude, this isn't fun.
Come on, dude.
And the girls are all looking at you, going, "I don't want that. I want that."
I know, right? I remember seeing Tommy Lee at the NAMM show one time. We're at the DW booth, and he just whipped out a bottle of Jack out of his back pocket and started pounding on it. He's like, "Oh, yeah, man. Fucking rah. He's just drunk out of his mind daytime. Like at the NAMM show.
Like Lukather.
Yeah,
for years, every time I'd ever see Lukather at the NAMM show, just like, "Hey, man," he doesn't remember who you are. He's just like, knows like you're up there to say hi, and he's hugging you, and he's just like stumbling drunk during the day at NAMM, dude.
Daytime. It's like Saturday, dude. There's fucking kids here.
You got to sign shit, and he's all, and it's so funny because every time I see Luke, he just like, like, he can't really talk. He's probably high on coke too back then, and he's just like signing shit.
Yeah. Just fucking. They probably just gave him a barrel of booze and drugs. Said just sign.
Right. And dude, NAMM show. I mean,
NAMM show's the greatest.
It's like if anybody who listens out there wants to see what we went through, go to a fucking NAMM show because they're all still dressing that way.
Yeah, it's heavy metal parking lot, but in a convention center.
Yes.
God damn it. I want to go in there with a secret camera and just film dudes.
Dude, and the girls.
The girls are crazy. They're old grannies. They're wearing fishnets at an equipment convention. It's an equipment convention. They go fly in. They go, "I know Don Dawkins going to be there."
Yeah.
I've always wanted Steve Stevens. And they dress up in these old fucking just 80s rock outfits and hunt. And dudes
and the like first series fucking fake booze where one's lower than the other. Different sizes. And you're like, poor girl.
Yeah, one's like an octagon. You know what I mean? Oh, it's bad, man.
And that's where you see dudes that you haven't seen forever, but you're going to see them there.
Fuck yeah,
you're just like,
you'll see those guys from Nitro.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah. Kurt James, he was one of the Steeler guitar players, and I'd see him there always. Just random dudes. Gene, who played in Lizzie Borden. See him.
Give him the axe. Lizzie Borden, man. I remember that live record done at like the country club. It was great.
Oh, no.
This one's called Give Him the Axe. Just like, what the fuck?
So many great, like one of the best NAMM show stories I remember having is like Paul and I would go there and we wanted to get endorsement. And it was the time when the band was just me and him.
Yeah.
And a drummer. And a drummer. But our drummer was from Austria, and I think he was back in Austria or something. And so
Bruce was out?
He wasn't in yet. Bruce wasn't an original member.
Oh, I got you early.
And so Paul and I would go around, and we just go, and he would get on a guitar and shred, and we'd have billions of people.
Yeah.
So I think we were at the Charvel booth, and so he's in there, and he's just ripping. He's got all these people standing up.
Yeah.
And who walks up? It's Jakey Lee, Warren DeMartini, Robin Crosby, and one other one of those dudes, maybe Amir Rock or I don't know. One of those dudes who were the Charvel dudes.
Yeah.
And they walk up because I guess they were going there to check out the booth, and they're watching Paul play. And Paul looks up and notices, and I do too. And I'm like, whoa, they're checking Paul out.
Yeah.
And Paul's just like,
Yeah, back when no one was doing that. Yeah.
And they all kind of like turn around. They start walking away. I go, I guess they weren't into it. And then they all kind of walk back, turn around at the same time, all turn around at the same time and flip Paul off and go, fuck you.
Whoa, really?
They didn't like what was coming next.
Wow, no shit, that
Hell
really
yeah.
happened?
But
Like they huddled
yes.
up and said, let's flip them off?
Yeah. that competitive shit you were talking about. It was
It's
just
so
all
weird.
meathead
Jock
fucking
rock, man, right?
I mean, there was so much of that element in that. And there still is in heavy metal. Still
Yeah.
like fucking beat your chest.
Yeah.
We're heavier,
Yeah.
louder, lower endy.
Yeah.
You know.
You're saying Paul, his hearing's messed up, right?
Yeah.
I always wanted to know what was wrong with him because lately I see videos of him. He's just wearing big headphones.
Yeah, because he has his in-ears and then he wears those protective phones over it. I mean, I don't know if it's genetics or I kind of believe that it's like I was always around Paul. He practiced more than anybody, and when he would be in the rehearsal place, even he started playing guitar 8 or 9,
Right.
And he never played softly. He played loudly. So imagine if you're standing in front of a Marshall stack for, I don't know, 25, 30 years.
Yeah, man.
I mean, he claims, too, that it was Eric Martin's side fill because Eric had to have the vocals so blaring loud.
Wow.
But all that's going to take its toll. Like, you got to pay the piper, man.
Wow.
You know?
So what does he have? Tinnitus where it's ringing all the time?
He has
Or is
that, and he just is hard of hearing, you know? Like,
Wow.
he just like, you have to, he likes controlling the where he goes, you know, because like this would be perfect in your crib right here.
Yeah.
It's dead silent and you can just hear focus. But if you're in a place that has a lot of background noise,
Yep.
he's lost. You can't hear.
You can't hear, huh?
Yeah.
That's scary, right?
That sucks.
My right ear's gone. I always say it's there for looks. Yeah.
My left has been fucked for. They always call me Monoready because my last name. You know, when people say like Alderete, they call me Monoready.
Yeah.
Actually, Tim from Rage Against the Machine. That's what he would call me. He's like Monoready. What's up? Yeah.
So you get into Mars Volta, and fucking that's got to be pretty epic, right? What, like, how is it? How many years were you in?
I joined in 2003 in April, I guess, and so we just immediately like I said, Omar's like, you better have this. You know, my first show was at the Troubadour,
right?
And Ian MacKaye from Fugazi's there, and System of a Down dudes are there, and just like all these labels. Rick Rubin's there, and so you know, it's like my first show, and I had literally like 2.5 practices.
Wow, man.
And so we go in there, and you know, with those guys, like we had all these songs on the list, and we played like 30 minutes or 35 minutes.
One song, right?
No. Then they just were like, we played 30, 35 minutes, and they called it. And we had all these other songs to play, and I'm like, all right, whatever. I didn't know. Like, was like, I think they were just like, this is good. Yeah, we're good.
Wow.
And so I don't think anything. I think they was like, all right, that's cool. Let's just bail on these other songs. So then
that's almost cool. A little taster.
Maybe also because we were playing Coachella that weekend.
Oh, I gotcha.
And so then my second show is Coachella.
Wow.
And my bass amp goes down.
Really?
In like third song, on second, third song, or whatever.
Oh no.
So I'm already getting riled. I'm like, this is going to be heavy duty. And then like next thing I know, I'm on a flight with Omar and Cedric, and we're flying to Minneapolis or somewhere in the Midwest to join the Chili Pepper tour.
Yeah.
And the same thing, like they don't say much. They're very nice, but you know, they're scoping me to see if I'm a kook or not, I guess. And so, you know, I'm just stoked to be here. And so we tour for like, I don't know, like a month with them.
What are you doing? Arenas or sheds?
Arenas.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that's got to be crazy, right?
Yeah, and so it's super cool.
Have you played arenas up to there?
No.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
No.
because none of your bands ever played anything past clubs.
No.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing I ever did was with stuff with Pat. We'd played some bigger like sheds or whatever, but never arenas. And so, you know, then we're touring arenas, and you know, I knew Chad from like Bullet Boy because Chad Chad Smith, the drummer in the Chili Peppers used to be super tight with Jimmy Deanna from the Bullet Boys because Chad's a metal drummer, or loves metal. I should say he's a metal drummer.
Right.
But he was way into heavy metal. And so he and Jimmy used to party all the time.
Wow, yeah.
And so I knew. So he came backstage and he goes, I know you. And I go, Deanna Brothers.
Yeah.
And he's like, So like, you know, I'm feeling
So you had someone to latch on to.
Yeah, I have a little more comfort.
Now, are you on a bus?
Yeah, bus.
Now the other guys, Cedric and them are on the bus, right?
Yeah.
But they're on the bus not talking either?
No, they talk, but they're just very like kind of insular dudes at the time. So it's like, it was just back then, it was just Omar, Cedric, John Theodore, Ike, and me. It was a
Right.
5-piece band, and then
Five-piece
we
band.
had the crew on the bus with us.
Right.
So I kick it with the crew, and I was just trying to like get a vibe, like just I wanted to be comfortable. But I was always nervous because they never said anything. So I was like, "Is this temporary?
Yeah.
Are they gonna blow me out?"
Yeah.
I always thought I was gonna. It was like they were gonna fire me. I
Yeah.
don't know why, but I just like because
They just
never,
grabbed you for one tour and they'll find
but-
someone later.
Yeah, who knows? And so they, I would just hang out with Jeremy, and me and Jeremy would go, and Jesse the tech, and we would go out and party, like
Yeah.
just drink, but like
Yeah,
we
yeah.
just go out and get faded and whatever. And it's like I'm gonna have a blast. If they fire me, they fire me. I'm gonna have the greatest 3-4 weeks of my life.
Right.
And so the tour ends up in New York, and we do our own. We do Madison Square Garden.
Wow.
And so all these celebrities. Like
You're
Chris
doing the
I'm
fucking-
in an elevator with Chris Rock. You
Yeah.
know, I'm like, whoa, he's hanging out with Anthony. I'm fucking, Beastie Boys come through, and I'm just like, fuck.
You're
this
playing
is
the
it.
Garden.
I'm playing Madison Square Garden. And then I go to Anthony Bourdain's restaurant after, because I go, let's go, because I want to see if he's there so I can fucking tell him where I was at.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I was just at Madison Square Garden opening for the Chili Peppers, and I'd get to be bros with him, but he
Yeah,
wasn't there.
right.
Anyway, so then. And then we do a solo show. Oh no, but the Madison Square Garden show was this vicious, weird shit. All these we were playing, and these dudes are just flipping us off.
Wow.
Fuck you, we hate you. They're throwing quarters at us. and
Whoa,
shit.
really?
And so we're walking off stage, and John's like, the drummer's flipping him off too, and you just see like a crew of dudes start coming down towards the stage, and John's like, fucking come on.
Whoa.
And Omar's going towards, I'm like, what, these dudes are gonna battle fans? And I'm like, what did I get myself into, right?
Yeah,
Like, this
yeah.
is bananas.
That's great.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Gang
So-
shit.
Yeah, hell
Yeah.
yeah. And so I'm like, oh, this is heavy. So then, and I'm practicing every night when I get to my hotel room.
Yeah.
It's like, I gotta stay good. I gotta
Yeah.
stay.
You're going.
I want this gig. Yeah, I want to just make sure like I just nail this. And so we do our last show is a solo show, and it goes great. It's awesome. John from the Chili Peppers sits in. It's just a great show. Probably the best, maybe the best show I ever did with him. It's just ill, just
Wow.
awesome, intense.
In New York? You
Yeah,
did like
New
a
York.
solo show. Where was it?
At North 6.
Oh, yeah. All right.
And then fucking we're all staying back.
Do you have a record deal yet?
Yeah, the record's about to come out. Still not
They
out
did
yet.
the record without you.
with Flea.
I got. Oh, Flea
Yeah,
did
Flea
the first
played the
one
first
with
one.
Ruben.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
cool.
Justin JMJ, he played bass on one song.
I gotcha.
And so anyway, so we're in the hotel room, and I remember this clearly. This is the one thing that was like one of the most profound things that I could remember back from that time. We finished playing. We're in the hotel room, and I'm going to stay some extra days to hang out in New York with my wife.
Yeah.
And Ike has a girl he's hanging out with. He's staying. John Theodore's from the East Coast, so he's staying with his girl.
Yep.
And Omar and Cedric are going to stay back. I think they were just going to hang out too with their girl. So everybody's just going to hang out in New York and kick it. But Jeremy's like, he didn't have a girlfriend. He's like, I'm just going to go back. And I remember I was like in my room with the tour manager. I was rooming with the tour manager, and Jeremy came up and he gave me a kiss, and he kept kissing my arm. And I always remember like he's like, I'll see you later. And I always remember like, why am I remembering this? Why is this weird? Like,
Yeah.
not like we weren't close, but I was like, this is a little trippy. And I get home, and I don't hear from anybody when we get home. I'm like, oh, I'm getting fired. And then, like, I don't know, maybe a week went by. I can't remember. I get a phone call from Omar, and he's like, Jeremy committed suicide. Not committed suicide. He didn't commit suicide. Jeremy overdosed. He died.
Right.
And I was thinking, did he commit suicide?
Right.
But I don't know. I was just like, something about the way he said bye to me, and it was just heavy as shit. I was so...
Yeah, he OD'd on heroin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I just remember just going to the restaurant with my wife, and then I was like, we were at a restaurant, like a Mexican restaurant, and I just was a mess, crying, and she was just like, we got to go, and I was just like, I think this was it, but what a weird ending to this,
Yeah.
They'll probably break up.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
I don't hear from anybody again. I'm like, we're probably gonna break. They're probably gonna just not do this band, or they'll do something else. And then they were like, hey, I think it's best that we go back out on tour. And they called me up. We're going to Europe. And then 10 years later,
Wow.
the band. I mean, I almost made it to 10 years. Like Cedric quit the band. Like I guess at the end of the year.
Right.
And
That was it. You ever talk to Omar?
Not since then. No.
Is it one of those things you're on Cedric's side now?
I mean, it's just one of those things that I believe people need breaks.
Right.
Because I was really.
I mean, those guys been together as friends and shit way beyond most people ever last.
Right.
Especially in a band, it taxes you so fucking hard.
And you change. Your life changes. You become different people.
Yep.
And you know, there was always bad communication in it. There was always resentment, and you just need a break. And it's just, you know, nothing cures stuff like time. And I don't believe communication can even do it. It's just like you need a break. You need to be years away from it because you're still going to change. And who knows what you're going to be like in 3-5 years.
Exactly.
But I know that, you know, I'd be eventually being in the Mars Volta. I became Omar's guy. Like I was his dude that, you know, we'd spend hours and hours on the phone.
Really?
I spent hours and hours on the phone with him trying to convince him not to fire John Theodore.
Right.
And I was like, I know what happens when you change the dynamic of something great.
We always talk about that on this show. I talk about it over and over and over and over, and it's chemistry.
Right.
You cannot buy chemistry.
No.
And when you change the chemistry of a band, human chemistry is just like science chemistry.
Right.
If you add something to take something out, it changes the formula.
Right.
And as soon as you do that, and we know it. You've been in bands with numerous members, and the band always, each time a new guy comes in, it goes down and down and down.
Yes.
And
the drummer, John, I mean, he's just like, he's, you know.
Yeah, Cedric said that John, it was the biggest mistake of their life firing him. And, you know, you just saw him with Queens of the Stone Age. I saw your tweet. Yeah. The guy is fucking unreal. To find a good drummer is impossible.
I mean, we were, you know, I was just like, oh, I know this is happening. Because I didn't hear from Omar for a while. You know, we were off tour, and I was like, something's up. Because I always know. Like, I was like, oh, something's up.
Yep.
And then next thing you know, he was pulling in this drummer that used to be in Mars Volta before John. And there was all these things I had heard about him, but I was like, I'm not going to judge him on that, whatever. But he was a fucking asshole. He's a great drummer, but he's just not a cool person. He's just not a good dude.
Right.
And so the dynamics sucked. Nobody was happy. And so I remember at the time I kept playing like this drummer that I had found, this guy D'Anthony Parks. I was like, you know, I would go, man, I'm going to just like when Omar comes on the bus, because at that time we had separate drummers. Yeah. I mean, separate drummers, separate buses.
Right.
And they had their own. And so when they would come on, I would play this tape with this dude. Asteroid Power Up was one of D'Anthony's bands that he was in. And Omar would come on. He's like, who's this? I'm like, this is that guy, D'Anthony Parks. We need to get this dude. This dude is amazing.
Yeah.
This dude we got right now is a fool. Let's get rid of him.
You would tell him that?
Oh, yeah. And so
I love you. Like, get rid of this guy. He's a fool.
Nobody likes him. He said some racist shit to our tour manager who's Mexican American.
Wow.
And so
he's in a band with Mexicans.
Yeah, and he calls him like, hey, my spick brother. And we're like, yo, dude, fuck that.
What an
and so we're like,
idiot.
let's just get this. And he's like, they let him bring his girlfriend on tour.
Fuck that.
Dumb, right?
Yeah,
like,
Rules of Rock #2.
Boom.
Yeah.
And we're like, she's crazy, and she's trying to do like threesomes with the horn guy and shit.
Wow.
It's like a bullshit. Like
Mars Volta fucking has rock drama.
Well, it was because we had our own bus, and those two dudes were like, you know,
they're in their
isolated from the
submarine.
dumb
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
And we were all like, Paul, the guitar player at the time, and me, and Marcel, Omar's brother, and Ike, we're just like, we gotta get rid of this fool. Like, he needs to go.
Yeah.
And so, so then finally, Omar's like, we get rid of him, and D'Anthony comes in, and he's insane. He's insanely cool, plays amazing, and we're like, this is going to be some other level shit. We were rehearsing at Questlove's, you know, place that he has in Philly.
Yeah.
He came in with his laptop. He's like, because he knows who D'Anthony is. Like, fuck, they got D'Anthony Parks to play with him.
Yeah.
And he videotapes and puts it up on YouTube. Like, check it out. Mars Volta rehearsing, and he was just like, they're amazing. Like, he was just blown away. And we were killing at that rehearsal for some. Maybe we were just inspired. But anyway, long story short, D has his own band. Can't really commit the way we need him to commit.
Oh, no.
So who do we call?
Who?
Barney.
Who
do you got?
Yeah, who do you got?
Thomas Pridgeon.
Oh, man.
And then it's just years of just playing with a dude who just doesn't have a mature
Just
level.
mediocre.
No, he's an amazing drummer, but he's just not a mature dude. Just hard to handle. And so eventually it comes to head. And so back to D'Anthony, and we're like, D'Anthony wants to do it again, and so this is it. And then by then, it's just everything's deteriorating.
I saw you guys at the
Palladium.
Who played drums on that one?
That was Thomas.
I'll tell you what, man. one of the best shows I've ever seen. It was like 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
You had those backdrops, the painted things that would change every fourth song.
Right.
It was like seeing Santana meets Zeppelin.
Right.
Meets fucking like, I don't even know, like psychedelic.
Right.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah. And you know, he's, you know, Thomas, that drummer then, I mean, he's a great drummer. It's different. We ended up sounding kind of metal because he's kind of metal. And so that kind of sucked for us. And we knew it wasn't right. And, and then he was always complaining about not getting paid enough. And then, you know, it just got to a head where like one night he got super wasted and peed on the bus and, you know, just like it just started fighting with Cedric, and you just, man, it was just unhappiness, darkness, you know, all the way around. He shouldn't have been our pick, but we were desperate. We didn't have we didn't know who to go to.
What about like a Josh Freese or something?
I mean, we called a ton of people. Dude,
it comes down to not enough money for the level dude, right?
Right.
And then also it becomes your money is what you get.
Right.
And then you look what there is. There's always these B guys, and you realize why they never become the A guys.
Right.
Because they do dick shit like piss on a bus or say racist stuff, or they're angry because they've been the drummer all their life and they don't get the glory or the songwriting royalties.
That was Thomas. You know, he had a big ego, and he was, you know, he had skills. I mean, he is a gifted musician, but I just think that he saw this, right? And he was young. I mean, I'm not going to say mature maybe isn't the right thing, but he's just young and he didn't know. And I think he regrets, you know, how everything went down. But, you know, like we weren't happy as a band. We were never like, you know, as much as he wanted to leave the band, we were already thinking we need to get rid of him. Our sound sucks. Like, we don't sound good with him. We sound like we just don't sound like Mars Volta should sound.
Right.
And so we get D'Antoni and we were like, this is going to be great. But then just so many things happened in the last.
The band was already over by the time you get him again, right?
It was just already like, the shows are less people. Yeah. And we're having less and less great shows. And it's just too much resentment and just bad communication, bad decisions.
I could tell it was a bad vibe because you and I are like old friends. I couldn't even go backstage, which is unheard of. You know what I mean? Remember I said, hey, man, I'm up at the door. And you said, not good time right now or whatever.
Somebody's probably like getting yelled at or something.
It's just like, wow.
It's not easy. His job wasn't easy.
He
kept it all, you know, like besides me helping him out, it was so much responsibility. I mean, he's responsible for all these people's employment, all the band members, all the crew members, management, agents. All these people are expecting him to generate money.
Right.
And that's a huge responsibility.
Yeah, that's hard.
He has all this other shit he wants to do. He wants to be a movie producer. Director and all this other shit. And it's just like, it's just got so fucking crazy and heavy and intense and just too much. So we need a break. So then Cedric's doing the solo record.
Yep.
And he's like, hey, can you play on it? I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to play on it.
Yeah, when's it coming out?
I'm not sure. I mean, we're still like working on it.
Yeah. You guys played Alaska. How'd that go?
Yeah, awesome. Chili Peppers. Great shows. We have our drummer Greg and our guitar player Dan have amazing voices. So the vocals just, it's four dudes singing.
I like it. It's kind of a little bit Buckley.
Yeah.
A little bit, it's a great, I think it's a great direction for Cedric to go. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And it's really cool because it's fun as shit.
Yeah.
Everybody's having fun.
The chains are off.
It's the complete opposite of what we just got at.
Yeah.
It's nothing to say like, whoever else is doing something else, I'm sure they're in better places too, because that's what happens. Like you're grateful when it is good.
Yep.
And
Queens of the Stone Age are glad you guys are gone because they just picked up that fucking. I've always loved them, but now they've hit this new level. Right. They've got this great drummer.
Yes.
They've got Theodore, and they've really turned kind of into this
legacy band.
Fucking great, right, man? That record is incredible.
Yeah, and I think so. I think with Cedric's thing, it's just like. We want it to happen so badly because everybody's got this great role that they feel. It's a band, so it's like, Greg, the drummer's got great aesthetics. He's opening up this new cereal store in Venice called Another Kind of Sunrise, and he's doing all the design, and it's ill looking. He did our art. He found our artwork for what we're using right now. He's just got great style and great taste. So we lean on him and Cedric do that stuff together.
People bringing shit to the table.
And then and Dan is just a phenomenal singer, great textures, great vocalist, great songwriter. And we had this guy Nate Walcott who's been playing keys with us, who's also from Bright Eyes, and
Bright Eyes.
He does
great.
a lot of other stuff, but he's just a phenomenal musician, and it's just fun. We're laughing all the time.
Yeah.
And I
how are you getting money?
Well, tell you, I'm just starting over.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, we're not making. We made some money on our tour with Dot Hacker that we did.
I like to let people in on that because they think people think people are just rich.
No.
Oh, they were in Mars Volta. They're rich. No, they're not.
If Cedric would have done this 6-8 years ago, it'd have been sold out everywhere we played.
Totally.
But we went out and played Vegas, and we thought, the first show will be sold out because everybody's going to want to see what he's doing.
Right.
It's like 150 people, not sold out.
Yep.
Second show.
San Fran looked good.
San Fran was good, and then Fresno was good.
You got to play like Austin.
Yeah. The YouTube
Brooklyn.
start hitting.
Yeah.
YouTube start hitting, so the shows start getting more people. But the first few shows, we were like, fuck, there's like 80 people in Santa Barbara here.
Wow.
And it's Josh,
Yep.
who's a guitar player in the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Cedric, who headlined fucking Coachella last year.
Yeah.
And then 80 people there to see.
Who's your guitar player?
Dan, his name's Dan Elkin. He plays guitar in Broken Bells. He also played in this band called Hella from Sacramento.
Right.
He has his own band called Them Hills. Greg Rogove, our drummer, he played drums in Devendra Bonhart's band. Yeah. And then he has his own band, Priestbird. So he's in his own thing. But
just some good guys.
Yeah. So it's a great band. And I mean, like Cedric said, he always tells me, he's like, I just love how much we laugh. And we just didn't have that a lot in the Mars Volta. It was
I had him over here, man.
Shit.
The thing I want about Cedric is I just want to hang out with him every day. It's
he's
impossible.
the funniest dude in the world.
Because he's got twins now.
Yeah.
I'm never going to see him. He came to my comedy show. It was great. He saw when I got my name painted on the wall.
That's awesome.
I gave him the tour of the Comedy Store. He loved it. He's one of those guys like, oh, now we can't hang out. He's like a guy I met at camp, but he lives in like New York. You know what I mean? New York meaning his twins.
Yeah.
His wife is cool as fuck.
Yeah.
She's funny.
I'm telling you, man. Like he is. I always tell people, what is it like? What's Cedric like? When they ask me, I was like, he's just one of the funniest dudes in the.
Oh, he was like my twin brother.
Yeah.
We were into the same movies, music, fucking, paint, art.
Yes.
Everything.
Yeah, shit. I'm telling you, I'm sitting in your crib.
He was here. He was like, whoa.
Shit. Yes, exactly. So it's going to be great when we finish records. We've been looking at some more people to work with, and we met George Drakoulias. I was telling you that.
Oh yeah.
So we went to Cafe Gratitude.
Yeah.
That's where we met him, and we were just rapping out, and I was I just remember George from back in the day because I told him, I met you before when? I go, when American Records was up by the Roxy.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah. And he was just like, whoa, he's tripping out on that. And then he would like name bands. He's like, oh, yeah, I was producing this band called White Trash. And I'm like,
yeah.
And I go, Q Prime Band. He goes, yeah. And he look at me all weird. I go, well, I know Dino. And Dino's still at American working for Rick.
It's
or
so,
whatever. Whatever it's called.
Yeah, Rick, I think Rick was running like, fucking Capitol for a while or something, right?
Yeah.
Sony or one of those labels. I remember I showcased for George Drakoulias. It was the weirdest thing ever. It was me and him in a studio right over here off of fucking Vine, some rehearsal studio.
Oh, I got to tell him this.
And he just came in. He said, hey, I'm George. I was like, I knew who he was. He sat on a chair in front of me. I played 5 songs, acoustic. Like, I'm wearing like fucking camouflage pants and, living on Roca Drive, like singer-songwriter shit. And he was like, all right, cool, man, thanks. And then he just cruised and nothing. Right. And same thing for Rick. I went to Rick Rubin's house there up behind the Comedy Store and played in Rick's in his little fucking music room there, 5 songs. All right, thanks. Like just trying to get some kind of something going. Just one-on-one. Just weird. Acoustic guitar.
Heavy. Rick came to like DC-10.
Yeah.
So that guy Dino goes, we got to go see this band. Dino loved us, so he brings Rick down.
Yep.
And so it's Abe Laboriel Jr. on drums, and then Bruce, me. We had to keep Money Mark wasn't playing keys at that time. We had another guy, and Richie Kotzen's bass player, John Moore.
Yeah.
But he plays keys and he has a great vocal. So we were like, oh, we got the vocals covered. We're going to be killing. We had our own studio. So Rick comes. He's like, I love this. You guys have your own place. This is the way bands should do it. And he's just kind of, and so we're juiced to play. And Abe's like, Abe Laborio Jr. is like one of the greatest drummers in the world. And he starts getting nervous. And we're like, whoa, Abe's going to get nervous? And so we start playing, and Abe forget a couple of parts because I think Rick kind of intimidated him.
Wow, man. Rick is the god now.
Yeah, like one guy we thought wouldn't fuck up would be him. And we were like, whoa.
Yeah.
And so, Rick's like comes and listens to demos, and we're all stoked, and then he didn't sign us.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, but I was like years later when I saw him, I was at his house after a Mars Volta show, and I was like, I'm gonna go up to Rick and remind him. And then every time I'd want to, I was just like, that's corny. He'd be like, who gives a fuck, dude? I don't care about your band.
Or he just goes like, why'd they get you? And then you're out. He just whispers in Omar's voice, get rid of that guy. Old metalhead.
Yeah, this dude was in Racer X. Yeah. Oh, are you kidding me? I gotta tell you, the first Troubadour show I was telling you I did, the whole day I was like stressing because for years and years, they just took it down like a couple of years ago, but for years and years, there was a Racer X photo up on their front bar, wall. Because it's like, wall of fame or shame.
Right.
And so there's a Racer X one, and we all signed, and my hair is giant. And I'm like, please, God, don't let these guys see it.
Oh,
please,
my God.
Please. And
Did they know you were from Racer X?
No.
Oh.
I don't think they knew, or they didn't.
Just kind of kept.
You're in a metal band, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, they're not thinking that you're gonna have crazy hair.
And so I'm flipping out, and I'm like walking up like with like lead cement, like dead man walking. I'm like, if they see it, I'm out. I'm done. Yeah. And I walk in. And I see Jeremy, and Jeremy's like, he goes, hey, they're looking for you. I'm like, all right. And he goes, dude, you never told me about this photo. And I'm like, they didn't see it, did they? And he goes, I don't know. And he goes, it's hilarious.
Oh, no.
And I was like, and I go walking backstage, and I'm like, I hope they didn't see it. I didn't know when they want to see me. And I turn the door, and they are laughing their asses off.
Oh, no.
And they were like, dude. And Cedric goes, dude, I love it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. That was an era, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, thank God. I thought for sure it was going to be like, no, dude.
That'd be funny if they go, you're out. Like dead serious. We saw that glam shit down in the bar. You're fucking out of here. And then you just rolled your gear out and they played no bass player.
Hey, it's like in the fucking grunge era, that would have almost happened. That would have
probably happened, yeah.
Well, although, you look at Alice in Chains these days, makeup.
Yeah, they were a glam band before. Yeah. I remember Vane opened for them in Seattle. They were full glam and they loved Vane.
God damn.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
What was the other band that the singer died that Jeff Amick came from? I can't remember.
Mother Love Bone?
Oh, yeah, fucking kind of glam.
No, that's my favorite.
Yeah, I love that band.
All right, dude. Great to have you, man.
Thank you, sir.
How fucking fun was that, huh?
Oh, yeah. I'm telling you.
We're both alive still.
Hey, I turn 50 next week.
No shit?
You believe that shit?
Wow. You look great.
Dude, I just can't
No kids, right?
No kids yet.
Yeah, you're the winner.
Well, I want to.
You do?
Yes.
Why?
Fucking OG. I want to be like...
You're going to be an old dad.
You know Giada De Laurentiis, her dad's like a famous Italian director. He had kids like in his 60s or 70s or something. I think it's pimps.
I love Mark Maron. He has a great joke about old dads. I'm not going to give it away, but it's so real.
Well, tell me when we get off.
No, I'll tell you when we get off. Yeah.
All right.
But anyway, thanks for coming by, man. Yeah. Well, where can they find you? You're on Twitter?
Oh, I have my website. My wife's like, make sure you mention the website. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Pedalsandeffects.com. It's like a blog website I created so dudes can see what I do with pedals. I'm known to...
Yeah, I see your tweets of photos of mad pedals.
I have a studio that I have that's got I don't know, a few hundred pedals, and dudes always want to come kick it and check out my pedals.
That goes back to what's his name?
Distortion Felix.
Yeah, he loved pedals.
Yeah,
wow.
so Manny used to deal pedals.
Yeah, that's what he did.
So he got me into it. So I was doing pedal shit in the early 90s.
Pedals are so cool.
Yes.
They're so cool.
They sell more than guitars now.
Yeah, they're so cool. Yeah. And all those new cool boutique ones from the last 10 years.
Earthquaker devices.
Guys with fucking painting their own paintings on them and shit, like Smash Face or whatever it's called, Orange Destroyer, Krypton. I love it.
It took place of the album covers.
Yep, it did.
And so, my pedalsandeffects.com, I do shit like that.
And you got a Twitter?
And I'm Twitter, J_Alderete, Alderete. That's my Twitter handle. I mean, you just Google
What
my
was that
fucking
language
name.
you just spoke right there?
Alderete. That's how my name. So you never knew that. I like back in the metal days. You kind of kept your fucking accents and shit on the down low.
Man.
You didn't want people
Metal's
to know.
racist. That's what we learned
Back
on
then
this.
it was. Hell
I know,
yeah,
right?
it was. Like
fuck you, racist
George Lynch.
people.
Come on, he's Mexican, but you wouldn't know it. He's dyeing his hair blonde.
Oh, fucking Mark Tureen, man.
Vince Neil.
Vince Neil.
There's like, dude, there was a grip of us in metal bands.
Yeah.
Fucking, it wasn't cool like punk rock where Chavo was just like, some dude from fucking Boyle Heights and shit,
No, it's so weird. Fuck that shit. It's so dumb. I love you, man. Great to see you. I can't wait to see your band.
Zavalaz.
Are you playing?
We don't have any shows lined up. I think we're looking at doing something in October. And then once we finish this record, we will be out spring of next year. That's the plan. I think we're committed to it. I don't think it's going to change.
All right, cool. And then you got to come see me. You and Cedric come out.
Yes.
And come see me September 20th. I'm doing a big gig at Largo. I want you guys to come.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
We're in town. Fuck
Yeah, all right. All right, there he is right there. Juan Alderete.
Yes,
I
Juan
can't even
Alderete.
say yeah. To me,
De la
it's John Alderete right there.
Just like at a Racer X album.
Juan Alderete. And there he is. Thanks for joining me, dude.
All right, bro.
There he is right there. Oh, let there be talk.